Dad. How are you today?
Hi, Jordana. Well, we're almost coming into December. The seasons are going by very rapidly, but we had a very wonderful Hallmark this weekend.
We did. This was actually the one that was for Thanksgiving we're going to review, which was called the
Yes.
Holiday Hotline. There was so much Hallmark
Oh,
this weekend.
this was a wonderful presentation. Hallmark really did an outstanding job.
I really like this one, and I know we enjoyed watching it from the beginning, how they set it up where she was a chef in London, right?
Oh, yes. This one brought tears to my eyes. It was so full of happiness and joy, and it had a plot and a twist. And I think all our viewers, if they haven't seen it yet, will want to see it.
And what did you think about the direction of this? Because we really liked when we were watching it how they made you feel like when she was talking to her caller and when she was working for a turkey hotline, right? That they were in the same room, which we love to be able to see, like they were actually with each other, but not with each other.
First of all, this was a very, very believable theme. A turkey call-in, which sort of like Butterball Turkey offers to everybody. If you have trouble with your turkey, if you want to know how to defrost it or how to heat it or how to cool it, you call the Butterball company. And this lady actually was in a hotline called the Holiday Hotline.
Right, so it was fun. So our main character, which I loved, her name was Abby, right? And
Yes.
so she was British, or half British, right? Her mother, we found out, was American. Her father was from Britain. And
Yes.
then something happened when she was at home and she had to get away. So they said, go to Chicago and you can start a new one
Right.
and have the holidays there.
And it showed all the scenes from Chicago, like the Chicago Loop and the Chicago L going around and the skyline of Chicago. And for those of you who live in Chicago, you felt right at home. But she and he were terrific.
Yeah, and so she gets this, she wants nothing to do with cooking when she gets to the States. She says,
Yes.
I'm not going to cook anymore. I'm depressed about cooking. But her neighbor wants a break from the holiday hotline. So she gets this little gig. And she takes a job, but she kept getting hung up on, remember? Because
Yes.
she had a British accent and they don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Nobody wanted to ask a Britisher about how to defrost a turkey.
So she put on an American accent.
Yes.
And changed her name to Peggy.
Well, what was interesting is that, as you find out, there was a love interest, a rom-com, but for those of us who remember back 30 years ago, there was a wonderful Academy Award winner movie called Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, yes.
And it was a relationship between a gentleman in Seattle and a young girl in New York City, and they met online and they carried on this romance online.
Yeah.
And it had Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And this sort of reminded me of that relationship, that long distance relationship where they courted and they essentially dated each other and they knew everything about each other. And this is what this Hallmark was about.
And another one you just brought up that kind of reminded me a little bit more with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan when they did the one that says You've Got Mail, because they knew each other in person in that one.
Yes.
Which we find out in this one, they also meet each other outside of the hotline, but they didn't know it was each other because they had changed their names on the hotline. He was a Jack in person, but his real name was John, and that's what he went by.
That was part of the wonders of this particular Hallmark, and which made it so exciting. And the other thing I liked is where they actually juxtaposed the two characters talking on the same scene, but you realize that they were talking to each other on the telephone right next to each other.
And it was great.
Yes.
Even when he was in his kitchen preparing the turkey, she was on her little headset right next to him in the kitchen, but she
Yes.
was looking off a different way.
This was wonderful.
It was great.
Yes.
I think all of our fans are going to truly love this one because it was smartly done. It was
Yes.
fun.
Perfect.
And it was enjoyable for all of us to watch. What would you give it on your scale, you think?
Oh,
Jan?
this was a 5-star cry. It was wonderful. It brought tears to me to see the happiness of this young couple, and I'm sure it will bring tears and happiness to all our Hallmark viewers to enjoy this particular Hallmark. But what's next week?
So next week we have a little bit of a rest from Hallmark because this week they got us with 2 every night. Next week we just have 1 each night. So on Friday night they are featuring My Norwegian Holiday, where we are going back to Norway. It
Yes,
looks like.
yes. We chuckle because Mom just walked in.
Almost into the frame.
Yeah, walked into the frame. But go ahead, Jordy.
Saturday is a not so royal Christmas, which looks kind of interesting because normally it's a normal person falling in love with a royal, but there's a little loop to that one.
Yes.
And then Sunday is a Christmas with a Kiss. So we'll decide which one we're going to watch. I'm not sure which one sounds best.
What's very interesting is that December is only 5 or 6 days away. December is upon us, and before long we'll be talking about Happy New Year on Hallmark.
Yep, they do their January. I can't
Gosh.
remember what they call it, but
The season is racing, and all of Hallmark is coming to fruition for Christmas, and then Hallmark is going to start giving us New Year's, and they're going to give us
they have the
Valentine's Day.
Yep.
I mean, Hallmark has got all of these programmed and set up, ready to go, and I suspect that they have a lot of these, as what they say, in the can already produced, ready to share with us.
And we've enjoyed each one of them, and we have so many more to watch and keep reviewing for you guys. If there's one that you have been wanting to watch and you want us to do a review on us, let us know and we'll do it.
Absolutely. And what's interesting about all these rom-coms, the romantic comedies, is as I get older, I think maybe they were part of my life too.
Yeah.
Because who knows, maybe I was in a rom-com. But for all our viewers, we wish you a wonderful season. Go exercise to get rid of all the calories you got from the Thanksgiving turkey, and we relish our families and our getting together with our families. And Jordan and I relish being with you, our wonderful, wonderful colleagues. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll see you next week with another Hallmark.
Absolutely. Have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.